You have an interesting quote here. You said, Megadeth as a band has always been most successful when the world is at its craziest.
Success in the music industry isn't just about talent, it's about survival. The road to fame is brutal, and even legends aren't safe from its twists and turns. Dave Mustaine was once at the top, a metal icon, a rebel, a mastermind.
I had nothing. Then I had everything. Then I had nothing again. And it was okay going from nothing to everything to nothing.
But in the world of rock and roll, even the greatest aren't untouchable. One decision, one moment, and everything changed. His fate is sealed. But how did we get here? And what does this mean for the future of heavy metal? Let's go back to where it all began. The rise of a metal god. Long before the sentence, long before the scandals, Dave Mustaine was just a kid with a guitar and a dream. Born on September 13, 1961, in La Mesa, California, Dave's early life was anything but easy. His family struggled, and his childhood was filled with instability. But through it all, he found one thing that gave him purpose: music. The guitar became his escape. While other kids played sports or hung out at the mall, Dave spent hours locked in his room, perfecting his craft. His fingers danced across the fretboard, creating sounds that would later shake the foundations of heavy metal. By the early 1980s, his talent had caught the attention of Lars Ulrich and James Hetfield, the founders of a young band called Metallica. They needed a lead guitarist, and Dave seemed like the perfect fit. At first, everything was electric. Mustaine's aggressive playing style added a sharp edge to Metallica's sound. His speed, precision, and raw energy were unmatched. He wasn't just playing the guitar, he was attacking it. But behind the music, trouble was brewing. Alcohol, drugs, and a fiery temper made Mustaine unpredictable. He clashed with his bandmates constantly, often getting into drunken fights. Lars and James admired his talent, but feared his instability. Then, in April 1983, the unthinkable happened. Metallica, his band, kicked him out. No warning, no second chances. Just a bus ticket back to Los Angeles and a brutal realization. He had lost everything. But Dave Mustaine wasn't the kind of man to stay down for long. This was just the beginning. Dave Mustaine sat on the Greyhound bus, staring out of the window, his hands clenched into fists. Every mile that passed felt like another nail in the coffin of his dreams. Metallica had tossed him aside like he was nothing. But he wasn't nothing. He kept repeating the same words in his head: I'll be faster, I'll be heavier, I'll be better. As soon as he got back to Los Angeles, he picked up his guitar and started writing. The rage inside him poured into his music. The riffs were faster, sharper, and filled with the kind of fury that could tear the world apart. He wasn't going to let Metallica define him. He was going to create something even bigger. But starting a band wasn't easy. He had no money, no home, and no stable place to rehearse. Some nights, he crashed on friends' couches. Other times, he barely had enough to eat, but he didn't care. Nothing mattered except the music. He began searching for the right musicians, people who could match his speed and intensity. It took time, but eventually, he found them. When they played together for the first time, he felt it. The raw power, the electricity in the air. And just like that, Megadeth was born. The first album, Killing Is My Business, and Business Is Good, hit like a lightning bolt in 1985. The speed, the aggression, the technical precision. It was unlike anything anyone had heard before. It was pure, unfiltered rage turned into sound. And Metallica? They were watching. They had kicked him out, taken his music, and moved on. But now they had to face the truth. Dave Mustaine wasn't just back. He was coming for them, but success came with a price. With Megadeth gaining momentum, Dave Mustaine finally had what he wanted. A platform to prove he was just as good, if not better, than Metallica. The albums kept coming, each one pushing the limits of speed and technicality. 1986's Peace Sells, But Who's Buying changed everything. The title track became an anthem, and Megadeth cemented itself as one of the biggest names in thrash metal. The rivalry with Metallica was no longer just a personal grudge. It had become something fans debated worldwide. Who was the king of thrash? But while the band was reaching new heights, Mustaine was battling his demons. Years of anger, rejection, and relentless pressure had left him broken inside. Alcohol and drugs became his escape. Every night on tour was a blur of booze, cocaine, and fights. Band members came and went, unable to handle the chaos. Megadeth wasn't just a band, it was a battlefield. Still, the music never stopped. The breaking point. The late 80s and early 90s saw Megadeth release legendary albums like Rust in Peace and Countdown to Extinction. These weren't just great metal albums, they were masterpieces. Critics praised them, fans worshipped them. Even Metallica, at the top of the world, couldn't ignore them. But behind the scenes, Mustaine was spiraling. Years of substance abuse started taking a toll. He wasn't just fighting Metallica anymore, he was fighting himself. His body was failing, his mind clouded, and his bandmates were growing tired of his self-destruction. But no one could predict what was coming next, because soon, Dave Mustaine would face the biggest challenge of his life. By the late 90s, the cracks in Dave Mustaine's world were becoming impossible to ignore. Years of drug use, bitterness, and pressure had left him exhausted. His music was still powerful, but behind the scenes, everything was falling apart. The turning point came in 2002. One morning, Mustaine woke up in a hospital bed. He had suffered severe nerve damage in his left arm after falling asleep on it for hours, cutting off circulation. Doctors told him he might never play guitar again. For Mustaine, this was worse than death. Everything he had fought for, all the pain, all the battles, it all led to this: a life without music, a world where Metallica had won. He was devastated. For the first time in his life, he gave up. He disbanded Megadeth, checked himself into rehab, and tried to accept the fact that his career was over. The man who had built a legacy on rage, speed, and revenge was now left with nothing but regrets. But Mustaine wasn't done yet. After months of intense therapy and sheer determination, he began to heal. Slowly, painfully, he forced his fingers to move again. It was a miracle. In 2004, against all odds, Megadeth returned. The album, The System Has Failed, was a statement. Mustaine was back, and he had something to prove.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that they would consider my backfire a complete success.
He had faced death, defeat, and despair, and survived. For years, Dave Mustaine fought to keep his demons at bay. He had survived addiction, injury, and betrayal. He had rebuilt Megadeth from the ashes, proving time and time again that he was unstoppable. But something had changed. As the 2010s rolled in, the fire that had fueled Mustaine for decades started to flicker. His body wasn't as strong as it used to be. His voice, once filled with venom, grew weaker. The years of headbanging, stress, and endless tours had taken their toll. Then, in 2019, the unthinkable happened. Mustaine was diagnosed with throat cancer. For a man who had built his life on his voice, this was the ultimate nightmare. The metal world held its breath. Would this be the end of Dave Mustaine? But in true Mustaine fashion, he didn't surrender. He fought harder than ever, enduring painful treatments while still working on Megadeth's next album. By 2020, he announced that his cancer was in remission. The metal legend had survived yet again. But something was different. Even though he had won the battle against cancer, Mustaine wasn't the same person anymore. His performances became less frequent. His interactions with fans grew more distant. The fire that had once burned so brightly inside him now seemed dimmer. It was as if, after years of fighting, Dave Mustaine was finally tired. Then came the whispers. Rumors spread that Mustaine was planning to step away from music. Was this really the end of Megadeth? Fans refused to believe it. Mustaine was the warrior of thrash metal, the man who never quit. But deep down, many knew the truth. And then, the announcement came. Dave Mustaine was stepping away from music for good. This time, there would be no comeback, no second chance, no resurrection. The sentence was final. Goodbye forever. The news sent shockwaves through the metal community. Could this really be the end? The final war. For decades, Dave Mustaine had been the face of rebellion in heavy metal. He was the outcast who built an empire, the fighter who refused to back down. And now, he was saying goodbye. When Mustaine finally spoke to his fans, his voice was steady, but the weight of his decision was clear. "It's time," he said simply. He explained that after everything, the battles, the victories, the losses, he had finally reached his limit. His body couldn't keep up with the demands of touring anymore. His voice, though still powerful, was not what it once was, and for the first time in his life, he wanted peace. No more wars, no more fights, just an ending on his own terms. Some fans were devastated, while others understood Mustaine had given them everything and owed them nothing. But then came the next question. What would happen to Megadeth? For years, Megadeth had been Dave Mustaine's. His vision, his music, his legacy. Could it even exist without him? The answer was clear. Number Megadeth, as the world knew it, was coming to an end. The final tour was announced. A farewell to the fans, a last chance to see the legend on stage. Every ticket sold out within minutes. People traveled from all over the world, desperate to witness history. They knew this was not just another goodbye, it was the last one. And when Mustaine stepped on stage, guitar in hand, the energy was electric. This was the final war, and he was ready to fight it one last time. The venue was packed, with thousands of fans standing shoulder to shoulder. This wasn't just another Megadeth concert, it was the last. As the lights dimmed, a hush fell. Then a single spotlight revealed him. Dave Mustaine, guitar slung over his shoulder. For a moment, he just stared at the crowd, some teary-eyed, others with fists raised, waiting for the first note. Then, with a fierce strum, he launched into holy wars. The punishment due. The crowd erupted. Mustaine played like a man possessed, fingers flying, voice raw with power. Song after song, he poured his soul into the music. Symphony of destruction, tornado of souls, peace cells. But as the night wore on, reality sank in. This was the end. During a tout le monde, voices merged in an emotional farewell. And then, it was time. Mustaine stepped forward, gripping the mic. "This is it. Thank you. For everything." With that, he tore into my last words. The energy was electric, yet heavy with finality. When the last note rang out, he set his guitar down, took one last look at the crowd, and walked away. He never turned back. The stage was empty, but Mustaine's legacy, that would never fade. Fans flooded social media with tributes. Old clips resurfaced, reminding the world why he was one of the greatest. Even rivals had to admit that Dave Mustaine changed heavy metal forever. Somewhere, in the quiet, Mustaine was at peace. He had given everything. Now, it was time to rest. But listen closely. Whether in a concert hall, through the crackle of old vinyl, or in the wail of a piercing guitar solo, you will still hear Dave Mustaine's voice, his fury, and his music. And in that moment, you will understand that goodbye does not mean forgotten. The call for superintelligence and future predictions.
So all of a sudden AI is everywhere. People who weren't quite sure what it was are playing with it on their phones. Is that good or bad?
It's one of the things that, the sort of 4 or 5 things I thought would really affect the future dramatically.
Sam Altman said in his recent post that advances in technology could lead to more noticeable adoption of AI in workplaces in the year 2025, which could be in the form of AI agents, autonomous systems that can perform specific tasks without human intervention and potentially take actions for days at a time. Sam Altman also said that we may see the first AI agents join the workforce and materially change the output of companies. In a recent interview with Bloomberg, Sam Altman said that he thinks artificial general intelligence will probably get developed during Donald Trump's term. He noted that artificial general intelligence has become a very sloppy term, which competitors think is very close. Elon Musk, the co-founder of OpenAI, and Dario Amodei, who happened to be the CEO of Anthropic, both said that they think AI systems could outsmart humans by 2026. OpenAI said that artificial general intelligence could help elevate humanity by increasing abundance and turbocharging the global economy. The company further stated that artificial general intelligence could aid in the discovery of new scientific knowledge that changes the limits of possibility, but recent comments from Altman have been somewhat more subdued. In December 2024, Sam Altman said that he guessed the world will hit artificial general intelligence sooner than most people think, and it will matter much less. He added that artificial general intelligence can get built, and the world would go on mostly in the same way. He also said things will grow faster, but that there is going to be a long continuation from what we call artificial general intelligence to what we call superintelligence. In one of his recent posts, Altman said they are beginning to turn their aim beyond artificial general intelligence to superintelligence in the true sense of the word. That's not all. He expressed his love for their current products but said they are here for the glorious future. He added that superintelligent tools could massively accelerate scientific discovery and innovation well beyond what we are capable of doing on our own, and in turn, massively increase abundance and prosperity. Sam Altman, who previously wrote that it is possible to have superintelligence in 1,000 days, said that the ability to accelerate scientific discovery is a key distinguishing factor between artificial general intelligence and superintelligence. Nick Bostrom, the philosopher, who wrote the book titled Superintelligence, Paths, Dangers, and Strategies in 2014, was said to have popularized the concept of superintelligence. Bostrom defined superintelligence as any intellect that greatly exceeds the cognitive performance of humans in virtually all domains of interest, like artificial general intelligence, but more. Sam Altman called the book the best thing he has seen on the topic of superintelligence. OpenAI also reportedly said that artificial general intelligence will be just a point along a continuum of intelligence, but a misaligned superintelligence AGI could cause grievous harm to the world. These harms are said to be inextricable from the idea of superintelligence, because experts do not currently know how to align these hypothetical systems with human values. Both artificial general intelligence and superintelligence systems were said could cause harm, not necessarily due to malicious intent, but simply because humans are unable to adequately specify what they want the system to do. In 2024, Stuart Russell was said to have raised a concern. In his conversation with Time, he said the concern is what seems to be reasonable goals. He said that fixing climate change could lead to catastrophic consequences and eliminate the human race in a way to fix climate change. Reservations and reactions to the proposed AI. In the recent Bloomberg interview, Altman said he still expects that cybersecurity and biostuff will see serious or potentially serious short-term issues. He said the risks need to be mitigated and that long-term risks are harder to precisely imagine. He admitted that these risks are real and also believes that the only way to address them is to ship products and learn. Sam Altman spoke further about his brief ouster as the CEO by the OpenAI board and his subsequent return to the company. He called the event a big failure of governance by well-meaning people, including himself. He admitted he wished he had done things better. Researchers were also said to have collectively estimated that there's a 10% chance that AI systems could outperform humans on most tasks by 2027 in the largest survey of AI researchers made till date, assuming science continues to progress without interruption. Gary Marcus, who happened to be a prominent AI commentator, was said to have disagreed with Sam Altman. He said that artificial general intelligence is basically solved, while Mustafa Suleyman, CEO of Microsoft AI, said there's uncertainty regarding whether artificial general intelligence can be achieved on today's hardware or not. He said categorical declarations feel sort of ungrounded to him, and cited challenges in robotics as one cause of his skepticism. Reports have it that Microsoft, which has a partnership with OpenAI since 2019,
artificial intelligence and the rapid growth of ChatGPT. Microsoft, of course, is an investor in OpenAI, and the pair have a strategic partnership which enables Microsoft to deploy ChatGPT technology in many of their products.
And happens to be OpenAI's exclusive cloud provider and largest backer, will lose access to OpenAI once artificial general intelligence is achieved. Microsoft is reported to have invested over $13 million in the company to date. In order to reveal the different opinions of people about the digital transformation Sam Altman talked about, a new study from a digital transformation consultancy was said to have been carried out. It polled 150 decision-makers from IT and non-IT departments of firms with more than 500 employees. The results show that 99% of organizations are looking to use AI or ML to seize new opportunities, but fewer were said to trust it to bolster their existing capabilities in the immediate future. Ian Ray, Demon's head of data, machine learning, and AI, said it's clear that organizations see the potential value of AI and are working quickly to implement this technology to yield an array of benefits. He further stated that to maximize the business impact of their investments in digital, organizations need to ensure AI is a strategic enabler as part of their broader digital transformation approach. While 98% of organizations have some visions for the use of AI, 49% of senior decision-makers were said to have low confidence in implementing AI. This suggests that their vision does not align with the technology and change management deemed possible right now. Another reported concern about artificial general intelligence is the security risk. Reports have it that data security and privacy emerged as the top driver of low confidence among organizations. This was followed by difficulties of finding a trusted vendor to work at 31% of responses. Another factor cited was the legacy technology holding organizations back. This factor was said to hold about 29%, along with 24% perceived low skill level within business. This was said to also lead to dangerous misuse of AI tools, but rather, like dogs. While this might sound strange, it is exactly what happened on May 29, 2024, when two leading Chinese tech companies unveiled an army of robot dogs equipped with different weapons on their backs. What are the reasons behind this, and what events led to this moment? Join us as we unravel the secrets behind the world's first army of robot dogs.
The Chinese military has recently flaunted its rifle-toting robot dogs that it aims to use on the battlefield.
When wild visions become reality. Yes, the alleged rumors are true and verified. China has officially unveiled the first-ever army of robot dogs, an accomplishment that has drawn lots of attention and mixed reactions. It is like the 101 Dalmatians all over again, but this time with highly advanced weapons, modern sensors, and AI. Each of them was equipped with state-of-the-art machine guns, designed to enhance military capabilities and improve future warfare strategies that prove they weren't here to play. The robotic canines were revealed on May 29, 2024, during joint military drills with Cambodia.
During recent military drills with Cambodia, China's military showed off a robot dog with an automatic rifle on its back,
garnering a lot of attention from within the internet and beyond. But contrary to what many might think, this whole thing was a long plan in the making. It all began at 2016, when a postgraduate student came up with an intelligent idea. He envisioned a future where playful small robots made life much simpler and easier. His imagination went so wild that narrating to his friends felt like describing the average urban landscape from a Star Wars movie. This young visionary was none other than Wang Xingxing, a man who made it his lifelong goal to revolutionize robotics as a field. Soon enough, the young man got to work on making his vision a reality, and the result of his first endeavors was the X-Dog, a groundbreaking robot that mimicked the movements and behaviors of real dogs so much that it seemed unreal. The X-Dog was exceptionally agile and stable, able to move through difficult terrains like it was nothing.
I'm back.
Welcome home.
Good boy. Shake hand. Very good. Give me some water.
Sorry, I can't reach it. I'll dance to pleasure you instead.
It was able to maintain balance and recover from getting harshly kicked from multiple sides, designed to keep moving at all times no matter where it finds itself. This prototype was equipped with many sensors, using the mimicry of real dogs making sense of the environment with their noses. Except this time, it was with multiple cameras, gyroscopes, and accelerometers. This way, the machine was able to detect obstacles, measure long distances, and react adequately to sudden dangers. Looking at the prototype, like the people who first saw it, You might think someone is controlling it from somewhere, but you would be wrong. The X-Dog was programmed to move entirely on its own, using advanced algorithms to move around and make sense of the environment by itself. It knew how to plan paths, avoid traps and obstacles, and reach targets by solving random puzzles without human help or intervention. This feat alone is impressive on so many levels, and what makes it mind-blowing is that it was made in 2016. But we are just getting started. As stated, their legs and pattern of movement were built to mimic the appearance and capabilities of real dogs. This, of course, involved running, walking, and performing complex maneuvers.
China's robot dogs can run at speeds of up to 16 miles an hour. They perform tricks, are always obedient.
The movements were so realistic, involving very accurate control of actuators and joints with little error. These capabilities made it good enough for real-life operations like industry inspections, rescue operations, and even as a companion. That's right. It can also function as a man's best friend. This means you might consider putting off your real dogs to try this out in the near future, but don't count on it. The point is that the X-Dog was built to do a lot of things. On top of that, it was also built to last, able to withstand even the harshest of conditions with a robust design that makes it a practical solution for the most dangerous tasks. Realizing how much people were impressed with his creation, he knew at that moment that the X-Dog had a lot of potential. He wasn't just trying things out anymore. This would be his long-term passion. He envisioned a future where robotic dogs, where every street had a few units helping with complex personal, domestic, and industrial tasks. To make this a reality, he created his company Unitree Robotics in Hangzhou, marking the beginning of his efforts to bring his invention to a much wider audience. He had to improve his prototype, not wanting to have a wider exhibition only to repeat the same thing all over again. Wang and his company had to make it bigger and better, and that involved improving the power efficiency and sensor integration systems that malfunctioned many times in the prototype. Wang and his team now had a single goal in mind: to create a more reliable machine that could operate in many conditions. So for the rest of the year, the team was hard at work to make this happen, and by the end of 2016, they had made significant progress.
Previously, industry players were all using extremely efficient but customized high-power robotics. But I decided to use the components from drones, which are lighter, and I developed the mechanical drivers on my own.
The new and improved X-Dog was much more sophisticated, with many improvements in hardware and software. Its second exhibition was a huge success, setting the stage for subsequent showcases that solidified Unitree Robotics as a leading force in the tech industry. As of now, they were ready to take their first step into the ever-competitive industry. Here is how it went. Wang and his team kept their fingers crossed as Unitree Robotics officially launched their first industrial-grade robot dog, Lycago. It was named after the famous Soviet space dog, designed strictly for research and industrial applications. Like the prototype, this model was able to perform many tasks in different environments. Among the key features was an improved ability to navigate the most difficult terrains, performing tasks requiring stringent precision and stability. Powered by an impressive 13,000 mAh battery, the Lycago functioned at top performance for 3 hours before giving out. It featured all the sensors incorporated into the X-Dog prototype and was also able to withstand tough conditions with an improved build and quality. To the relief and eventual delight of Wang and his team, the launch of Lycago was met with relative success. The return on investment was good enough to introduce the successor in the following year. Known to many as Aliengo, it stood as a major step in the right direction for Unitree Robotics as a company.
With Aliengo, we are entering a new era of robotics. Aliengo brings its support to the professional and industrial world.
Aliengo was leaps and bounds above Lycago, able to handle more difficult tasks and operate in the most dangerous environments. Though it was powered by a slightly smaller 12,600 mAh battery, the many improved optimizations put it at over 4 hours of top performance on a single charge. Unlike the few models before it, the Aliengo's movements were dynamic, looking realistic in ways going beyond expectation. Is this really how it all ends for Dave Mustaine? Let us know in the comment section. We hope you enjoyed watching this video. Remember to like, share it, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.